My name is Tina Smith, and my speech is The Gift Outright by Robert Frost. The speech was recited at the presidential inauguration of John F. Kennedy in 1961. The reason why this speech is considered to be great, actually there's several reasons this speech is considered to be great. The first reason is it was spoken at the presidential inauguration of John F. Kennedy. This was, however, not the choice that Robert Frost wanted. He was going to read the Declaration. Due to his poor vision and the sunlight, he was unable to read the speech he wanted to. So he actually recited the gift outright from memory. Also, the importance of the speech to John F. Kennedy's administration is the fact that he would have to deal with the Cold War movement and the Civil War. I believe this poem was recited by Robert Frost in order for us to pull together as a nation and with the challenges we would face and become united as a nation. The poem also states the early Americans' ties with England and how we had such strong ties with England of the time and how we were trying to break loose from the ties that we had with England in tradition and in government. I believe that Robert Frost knew at the end of this poem that we would eventually become separated from England's roots and have our own tradition and our own government. Here's a little background into Robert Frost. He was born in 1874, lived to be 89 years old, died in 1963, a few years after this poem was recited. He is well noted as the most famous author of the time, or the most famous poet of the time. He was also considered to be great because he had won so many literary and journalistic awards. Both him and Kennedy were well stated as they had a great sense of pride and freedom for all. The audience of this poem was the United States of America, as this was presented at the presidential inauguration, and in my opinion, probably the entire United States was watching this. The message that Frost wants to get across to his audience is for the audience not to forget the great sacrifices that war brings upon the nation. Frost and Kennedy both shared a great sense of pride and freedom for all. Frost, giving the name The Gift Outright, tells us that the nation America was a gift outright from God, and that we were to be free as a nation, as a people, and as races. As you will soon hear, Frost actually uses a lot of logic in this poem. The poem is a sonnet-style poem. And it does use allusion. The allusion in this poem is pretty much the entire poem itself, as he talks about history and putting it into perspective with current times. He also uses personification in this poem, as he uses God in the poem to personify his view of God and the nation. Let's see what you think. The land was ours before we were the land's. She was our land more than 100 years before we were her people. She was ours in Massachusetts, in Virginia, but we were England's, still colonials, possessing what we were still unpossessed by what we no more possessed. Something we were withholding made us weak, until we found out it was ourselves. We were withholding from our land of living, and forthwith found salvation and surrender. Such as we were, such as we gave ourselves outright. The deed of gifts is many deeds of war. In the land vaguely realizing westward, but still unstoried, artless, unenhanced. Such as she was, such as she will become. Cut it.